Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have just drawn 0-0 with Liverpool at Anfield. Gotta say, weren't the best of games. I thought defensively, we was very good. I thought Luke Shaw was absolutely superb. Made some very good interceptions and he got forward well in the game. I thought Harry Maguire did well at the back. He did actually make a mistake though in the first half that could have been costly. Victor Lindelof, he made some very good clearances. And I thought Wan-Bissaka did very well. We looked dangerous on the counter-attack. We had two fantastic chances in that second half. Obviously, one from Bruno Fernandes, produced a fantastic save from Alisson. And Paul Pogba, he had a massive chance again, produced a fantastic save from Alisson. But from my perception, Paul Pogba should be finishing that. So we had more clear-cut chances than Liverpool. Bruno Fernandes did have a few chances in the game. Obviously had that chance from the free kick, just went wide. But I thought prior to the chances Bruno Fernandes had, I thought, he was quiet in the game and he was quite sloppy on the ball. Marcus Rashford, he did make some good runs, but he was caught offside far too many times. Anthony Martial, he obviously got into space quite a few times and he also made some very good runs. Scott McTominay and Fred, I thought they were quite poor. They were too sloppy on the ball. David De Gea, he didn't really have much to do. He produced a fantastic save though to deny Thiago. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given his perception on the game. He said he was disappointed that we didn't beat Liverpool. But a draw is better than losing, because Solskjaer was saying prior to the game that, obviously we was the underdogs going into this game. But he actually urged us to go to Anfield and cause an upset. Don't forget, Anfield is a fortress in the Premier League. Liverpool are unbeaten in 68 Premier League games now at Anfield. They haven't lost at Anfield in the Premier League since April 2017. They're in a bad vein of form though at the moment. They are now winless in their last 4 Premier League games. There was some good performance for Liverpool as well. I thought Thiago was definitely their best player. Like I mentioned earlier on, he had a very good chance, produced a fantastic save from David De Gea, and he was everywhere on the pitch. Liverpool got Thiago last summer from Bayern Munich. Shaqiri was quite good for them in the first half, but I thought it was quiet in the second half. I think Shaqiri did have a chance in the game. I think a lot of Liverpool fans were surprised that Shaqiri started because he makes an impact from the bench. I thought Jordan Henderson did very well for them at centre-half. He made some good interceptions. Fabinho also did well at centre-half. He made some good interceptions. Wijnaldum did okay as well. So I think they were the good performers for Liverpool. Salah did have a half chance, didn't he, in the game, went over the bar. He also had another chance in the game. But Salah didn't really get a lot of service in that game, did he? I thought Mane was quiet. But Liverpool certainly did have their chances, especially in that first half. Roberto Firmino probably had the best chance of the first half. Obviously, it was a poor shot in the end, but he could have actually squared it to Andrew Robertson, but he didn't. But a lot of Liverpool's chances, like I mentioned, were wasteful. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I thought he enjoyed a poor game for Liverpool. Andrew Robertson, he didn't enjoy the best of games either, but he did get forward a couple of times. So you can say a draw was a fair result in the end. Liverpool definitely dominated the possession in that first half. But there was expected, to have a lot of the possession. Liverpool have obviously got injuries, like I've mentioned. They are missing Virgil van Dijk. He's obviously out for the season. They're missing Joe Gomez. He's out for the season. They're Liverpool's two main centre-halves. Obviously, there was missing Diego Jota. He's currently out with injury. Joe Matip obviously wasn't available. He's still out with injury. Simkas as well, he's out with injury, but he wouldn't have started for Liverpool anyway. Naby Keita's out with injury, but he wouldn't have started for Liverpool anyway because he's not one of Liverpool's first choice midfielders. But, at the end of the day, we'd have loved to have beaten Liverpool at Anfield. Would have loved to have ended their unbeaten record at Anfield in the Premier League. But at the end of the day, we've got a draw, against the best team in England. Solskjaer was obviously saying prior to the game that Liverpool have been the best team in England for the past 18 months. And he said they have been great for 3 years. I actually think Eric Bailly, though, should have started ahead of Victor Lindelof. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has explained why Lindelof started instead of Eric Bailly because he said, Lindelof has been prepared all week. But like I said, Lindelof had a good game, but I still think Bailly's a much better centre-half than Victor Lindelof. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he's injury prone. Eric Bailly just recently come back from a neck injury. Obviously, Brandon Williams, he wasn't involved. He wouldn't have been involved anyway, because obviously now he's our third choice left back. Obviously, Phil Jones is still out with injury, but he wouldn't have played either. So more or less, Solskjaer got it right. Obviously, we brought 2 substitutions on in the game. We saw Mason Greenwood come on, and we saw Edinson Cavani come on. Like I said, Edinson Cavani would have started if Martial wasn't fit, but obviously Martial was fit, so that's why Martial had started. He didn't enjoy a bad game though, Martial, like I mentioned earlier. Paul Pogba, he didn't enjoy the best of games. Like I said, he had the best chance for us in the game, should be scoring. Paul Pogba was playing in more of an advanced role. Paul Pogba started on that left-hand side, but he actually, was... he was on that right-hand side a lot of the time. We still remain unbeaten away from home in the Premier League for almost a year, and that is a very, very good record. And we still remain top of the Premier League, but we are 3 points now in front of Liverpool. If we do beat Fulham, we will be 6 points clear of Liverpool. Now, we should be beating Fulham because, Fulham are relegation fodder. Fulham recently lost to Chelsea 1-0. I think Fulham will go down this season. The last time we played Fulham was almost 2 years ago now in the league. We've beaten them 3-0. Their current manager is Scott Parker. He's been Fulham manager now for almost 2 years. Fulham have got some good players in their team. They've obviously got that Mitrovic. He's one of their key players, but he's recently been out with injury. They've also got Lookman. He's one of their key players. They've also got that Kamara. They've got that Caballero. They've got Mario Lemina. They've also got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They got him on loan from Chelsea. Obviously, we played Fulham in the Cup once, we're beating them 4-1. Drew with them 2-2 at Old Trafford back under the David Moyes era. I think that was the game when, there was 81 crosses in that game. But yeah, we are certainly in this title race. But I did say to you, didn't I, even if we'd have beaten Liverpool or Liverpool had beaten us, it wasn't going to define who was going to win the title because it is still too early to say. We're not even halfway through the season yet. We could win the league, Liverpool could win the league, City could win the league, Tottenham could win the league, and even Leicester could win the league. But if we don't win the league this season, we'll certainly win another title at some point. If we do, it will be our 21st title overall, and it will be our first Premier League title since 2013. Don't forget there's 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. We can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup, and we can also win the Europa League. And it's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. We haven't won a trophy now for just over 4 years. But if we don't win the league this season, I certainly think that we will finish in the top 4. We still haven't won at Anfield for nearly 5 years now. Obviously, we did beat Liverpool at Anfield back in 2016. It was a late goal from Wayne Rooney. Obviously beat them at Anfield back in 2015, 2-1. It was 2 goals from Juan Mata in that game. We also beat them at Anfield back in 2012, 2-1. That's when Robin van Persie was playing for us. So, we haven't really won at Anfield a lot, have we? Obviously, we lost the fixture at Anfield last season 2-0. Like I said, it was goals from Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, but it weren't Liverpool's best performance in that one because we still had periods in the game, like we did in today's game. We did lose at Anfield back in 2018 3-1. Obviously, that was Jose Mourinho's final game as Manchester United manager. Obviously, we do play Liverpool next week in the FA Cup 4th round. It's going to be interesting to see how both teams approach that game. Will both teams play a weakened squad or will both teams play a strong squad? We won't go with the same lineup in the cup game as we did today, and I don't think Liverpool will go with the same lineup as they did today in the cup game. We are the second most successful team in FA Cup history because we have won 12 FA Cups. Liverpool, I think, have won around 7 or 8 FA Cups, but they haven't won the FA Cup since 2006. Liverpool. But like I've said, Jurgen Klopp is a very, very good manager. Jurgen Klopp is regarded as one of the best managers in the world at this present time. He's been Liverpool manager now for almost 6 years. I think it was last season he extended his contract with Liverpool until 2024. He's won 4 trophies at Liverpool so far. Last season he won the Premier League. That was Liverpool's first title in 30 years. They've won 19 overall. They're just one behind us because we're on 20. They won the FIFA Club World Cup and they also won the Super Cup, Liverpool. And the season before he won the Champions League, Liverpool have won the Champions League 6 times. And Liverpool is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he was at Liverpool, he was at Borussia Dortmund. He won a few trophies with them. And before he was at Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05. Klopp's emulated into a good manager, you can say, because, his record at Mainz 05 was disastrous. Okay, he did well at Dortmund, but after his first 29 games at Liverpool, his record was absolutely disastrous. But like I've said time and time again, it takes some managers time to settle in. Liverpool did let a few players go last year. They obviously let Nathaniel Klein go. Dejan Lovren left them. Adam Lallana left them. Harry Wilson went out on loan. Trivella left them. And Hoover also left them. And I think more players are going to leave Liverpool in the summer, to be honest with you. Probably Dick Overeeg is going to go. He obviously came on in today's game. Probably Jorginho Wijnaldum's going to go because he rejected a contract extension. You know, Barcelona want him. Probably Shaqiri's going to go as well. So certainly more players are going to leave Liverpool. Yeah, they will, definitely. But we can't beat the big teams under Solskjaer. And that's been proven so far this season. And if we are to be genuine title contenders, we've got to beat the big teams. You know, we haven't beaten Tottenham, you know, they're beating us 6-1. You know, we haven't beaten Man City yet, and we've played them twice in the league and in the cup. You know, we didn't beat Leicester, drew them 2-2. You know, didn't beat Arsenal, lost to them 1-0. Didn't beat Chelsea, drew them 0-0. And obviously we've drawn with Liverpool 0-0 today. So we have got to start beating the big teams. Now, we did beat, you know, a few big teams last season. By the way, in today's game, Solskjaer made 3 changes from the 1-0 win against Burnley. But yeah, like I say, you know, there's a lot of United fans that are Ollie in. Obviously, earlier on in the season, there was a lot of Man United fans that were Ollie out, reflecting how inconsistent we was. But, you know, with how good we have been in recent months, a lot of United fans' perceptions have started to change on Solskjaer, and I'm one of them. My perceptions slowly started to change on him. You know, at the end of the day, he's the first manager to get us top of the Premier League table at this stage of the season since Sir Alex Ferguson. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final early on in the season. Got to give him credit for that. It was a shame that, you know, Solskjaer didn't reach his first final as Man United manager. You know, he did well last season in his first full season at the club. He got us qualification for the Champions League, got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. Despite our reluctance to back Solskjaer with transfers, you know, I think he has still made good signings as Manchester United manager. You know, he's spent, over £200 million at the club. Now, in the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. And we've also seen a lot of players leave the club since he got recommended in. And we are enjoying a good period under him at the moment, despite us drawing today, you know, because we are now unbeaten in our last 12 Premier League games. As you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his plans for this January transfer window. He did say, didn't he, that January signings are unlikely, but Solskjaer admits that there could be further more departures from Man United in this January transfer window. Now, obviously, Timothy Fosu-Mensah recently left the club to join Bayer Leverkusen. Solskjaer's already confirmed that Sergio Romero and Marcus Rojo are free to leave in this January transfer window because their contracts won't be extended. Obviously, Jesse Lingard has been linked to a move away from the club. I think Odion Ighalo will leave. His loan expires at the end of this month. There's been obviously rumours of Daniel James going out on loan, and there's obviously been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan. And I think more players will leave Man United in the summer. Don't forget, Ed Woodward has informed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that the club need to be careful with their spending in the transfer market. But obviously, Ed Woodward promised that, you know, he will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this January window. But he did say towards the end of last year, we will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Now, this January transfer window, Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And I think we are looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. But Solskjaer will still be Man United manager at the end of this season, I can assure that. He's going to be given at least another season at the football club. Now, like I mentioned to you earlier on, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on course to earn himself a new contract, reflecting on the progress he's made in the last year or so. Gary Neville also believes the thing that I've just said to you. When Solskjaer got the job permanently in March 2019, he signed a 3-year contract with Man United, and I think he's more than halfway through now his 3-year deal. But like it said earlier on in the season, Solskjaer, a new contract is not Solskjaer's priority at the moment. His priority is leading the club to long-term success. Now, you can say, reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience. He's obviously learned quite a bit on the job. There's obviously a few stuff, though, he's got to learn on the job. Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for just over 2 years, and this is his 2nd full season at Man United. And so far, you can say that he is exceeding his expectations. Solskjaer's managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions. We did appoint him in December 2018, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. There's still some United fans that don't know if Solskjaer is a long-term manager for Man United. But to say he's not a manager at the top level, he has done well, because no one expected us to be top midway through January 2021. No one expected us to be joint top of the Premier League earlier on this month, and no one expected us to be there towards the end of last year, because we were so poor earlier on in the season. But it just shows some good results do change the complexion of things. Solskjaer could have easily been sacked as Man United manager. Like I've said time and time again, he was lucky not to be sacked earlier on in the season when we got knocked out of the Champions League. He was lucky not to be sacked after our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. He was lucky not to be sacked at the first part of last season. But like I've said to you time and time again, willing to be patient with him. With him being a club legend, our board have a soft stance on him, but disregarding being a club legend, our board would be a lot more ruthless on him. You know what I mean? But even when we was inconsistent, not all the blame stemmed from him anyway. Obviously, there's certain players that have got to take responsibility as well. And like I've mentioned, the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. Reflecting now poor our recruitment policy's been, and we've also overpaid for players. Woodward's been at the club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. But like I said to you, Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to replace Solskjaer, don't forget, and he was actually the favourite to take over at Man United after Jose Mourinho got sacked. But obviously Pochettino's now out of the equation because obviously Solskjaer's doing well now, and plus Pochettino's PSG's manager, and he recently won his first trophy with PSG. Now, like I said to you, there has been a lot of players on our agenda. Obviously, I give you the news on Jadon Sancho recently. He said Man United could sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. France Football, via the Sports Witness, recently said that Borussia Dortmund are looking for replacements for him, and reportedly they've identified their replacement for Sancho. Sancho made an admission not so long ago saying that he has endured a difficult season with Dortmund, but he's happy to be back among the goals. The Borussia Dortmund CEO explained why Sancho's endured a difficult season, because he was expected to join Man United last summer. Sancho was our number one priority target last summer, but Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million and we was not willing to meet their £108 million valuation. But it did say a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. But Dortmund made it clear to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player, and we obviously missed out on that deadline. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's been talking a lot about the Sancho saga. Bill's Christian Fark's been also talking about it. Liverpool and Chelsea have also been in for Sancho. But analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund till 2023. Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. Didn't they? But we believe we can get him for less than £100 million this year. If he leaves, it will be the summer. It won't be in this January transfer window. And don't forget, earlier on in the season, Dortmund sacked Lucien Favre. You already know the news on Erling Haaland. Recently, I give you the news on Declan Rice. This was stemming from ESPN, saying that Man United are set to rival Declan Rice. Set to rival Chelsea for Declan Rice, Declan Rice is Frank Lampard's number one transfer target, and Frank Lampard was infuriated when he missed out on Declan Rice. Chelsea spent over £200 million last year on players. I think Declan Rice was valued at around £80 million by West Ham. Declan Rice has been at West Ham for several years. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. There's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. I think he's made around 116 appearances in the Premier League for West Ham. He's predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can play as a centre-half. But I like the way Declan Rice gets forward and he breaks up the play well. Actually, before West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in Chelsea's youth setup for several years. You already know the news on Sergio Ramos. It recently said that we was willing to offer him a 2-year contract, Sergio Ramos. But I'm very, very sceptical he'll come to United. You already know the news on Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig. Don't forget he's available for around £39 million at the end of the season. Earlier on today, I give you the news on Paul Pogba. Fabrizio Romano has said that Paul Pogba will leave in the summer, providing an agreement is reached. And he said that Juventus are preparing to make a move for him in the summer. They're hoping for a player plus cash deal. Paul Pogba, don't forget, gave an interview prior to this game against Liverpool, and he did make an admission saying that, we're not on Liverpool's level as yet. But he did say that Man United can win the Premier League title, and he was talking about his frustration of being on the bench. Paul Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. We've revealed our asking price. We do want around £75 million for him. So there you go. But like I say, putting the stats into circulation now, you can say Solskjaer's the best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. He's certainly a much better manager than David Moyes was, because David Moyes is probably the worst manager that Man United have ever had. 3 managers have been sacked since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and that was obviously David Moyes. He was sacked after obviously 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. So there you go, and on my next video I will be giving you my player ratings from the 0-0 draw with Liverpool. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.